Now, where do we go from here? Hello, my name is Andrew Molloy. I was born in Dublin, North Inner City in 1960, and just a few little stories I want to share with you. Some are funny, some are amusing, so have a swig of this and off we go. Now, the first little story I'd like to share with you goes back to, let me see, what old is Mark? Around 66, 68. And it concerns the television licence, which the P&T used to look after at the time, which is the Post and Telegraphs. So the story goes, we were all sitting in the house one day and there was a knock at the door and there was one of the gentlemen from the P&T. So one of my brothers opened the door and let him into the flat. My mother, we were all sitting there watching TV, and he asked my mother, had she got a television licence? So my mother didn't know what he meant about television licence. I'm not saying women were ignorant, but they were very innocent at the time. So my mother said no, she didn't know what it was, and what did she have to do? And he said, look, you need to buy a licence. I can't remember how much they were at the time. But what he did say to her was, if you don't get a licence, you could go to prison. So once she heard that, as soon as my father came in, there was murder. Now at the time, the P&T on television used to have a van going around with an aerial on top. It was very funny because this aerial used to spin around, and the idea was we can detect whether you have a television in the house, which was a load of baloney, but people believed it. And so at the heel of the hunt, my mother got the licence. So a couple of weeks later, my mother, we lived in a flat Liberty house. My mother was bringing my youngest brother Mark to school, and on her way down the stairs, she bumps into the gentleman from the Post and Telegraphs. Oh, says he, how are you, Miss Molloy? Says he, I'm here about the television licence. Says she, look, we're at getting a television licence. Says she, I'm rushing to school with my brother, but my husband is in, and tell him the television licence, it's on the mantelpiece behind the clock. That's where they kept everything, on the mantelpiece. So the guy goes up the house, knocks at the door. My father opens the door. He introduces himself. Says he, listen, son, you're only after missing my wife. She looks after all that. She has. Says he, oh, I understand. Says he, but if you look behind the clock, you'll see the television licence. My father goes in, right enough, behind the clock, picks up television licence, brings her out, shows it to him. I see, that's a grand Miss Molloy. Says he, you're compliant now with the TV licence, and off he goes. And my father calls back. Says, you don't mind me telling you, son, that's some detective on you have. Oh, that's just one of the stories. Well, I'd like to thank you for listening to them few stories, which I can assure you every one of them is true. So here's to a peaceful night, and you can't beat it now, Jameson.